First of all, I just want to apologize if this video is a little bit off. I'm trying to use a different camera and I don't think it's working that well, but please enjoy the video. Hi everyone and welcome to another video. So, are we obsessed with air fryers? The thing is, I didn't even realize I'm obsessed with my air fryer until my friend pointed it out to me. Like, I keep talking about how my air fryer is such a good investment and how it saves me so much time, etc, etc, etc. And she basically told me like, oh my god, it feels like every single person that I talk to keeps raving about their air fryer. Like, why is everyone so obsessed with their air fryer? And it got me thinking, is it really true that, especially for young people, are we really obsessed with our air fryer? That's what this video is going to be about. We're going to talk about the obsession with air fryer. I feel like before we can officially start talking about the reasons why people can be obsessed with their air fryer, we should probably trace it back to its origin and see where exactly the air fryer has become incredibly popular. Air fryers have existed almost 20 years ago. It was first invented in 2006 by the Dutch engineer Brett van der Veech. I think that's how you pronounce his name. I'm sorry if I pronounce it wrong. But he invented the air fryer because he wants to cook fried food with little oil, and thus the air fryer is born. But the air fryer itself, it functions differently than, say, a regular deep fryer in that it blasts hot air onto your food. So more than anything, it probably resembles the fan force oven more, but the air fryer just has like a better ring to it. So that's why marketing sticks to calling this appliance the air fryer. Back then, the air fryer isn't really popular. It's just like after, 2020, where something happened, and then a lot more people are working from home and they start cooking more from home as well. That's probably around the period of time where air fryers become incredibly popular. And the popularity for air fryers continue to steady on because after, 2020, people are still working from home. And because of that, more people still cook from home. And thus, the air fryer remains popular up until now. Between more people working from home and cooking from home and the desire for people to eat like healthy fried food, yeah, you can see exactly why the air fryer continues to remain a staple in a lot of young people's kitchens. Now, let's get into the nitty-gritty. I think the first reason is incredibly obvious. The air fryer is just a really convenient tool. Like, it really helps you save time. Nowadays, people would consider themselves to be time poor. And sometimes, to be honest, like, I feel that way too. What's great about the air fryer is that you can just put your ingredients into the basket and then just set up the time and set up the temperature, and then the food will start cooking. In the period that you are waiting, you can do other things, like, I don't know, maybe work out. I mean, I don't know why I'm saying that. I'm not healthy, I don't work out, but in the time that you are waiting for your food to cook, you can do something else, and that is something that is really valuable for a lot of people because we're not like actually slaving away on the stovetop cooking the meal. We can use the time to do something else. But it's not only just that, because when you're setting up the air fryer, you don't really have to preheat it the same way you preheat an oven, so immediately you're already cutting down on preparation time. Then when you're also cleaning up the air fryer, all you have to do is just clean up the basket. So it's not like you're cleaning up an oven, which is technically super huge, or you're not cleaning up a lot of pots and pans that you are using to prepare your meals either. So yeah, the air fryer is such an incredibly convenient appliance to use because it really helps you save time. People these days, we're just so incredibly busy because work technically doesn't end, officially after you clock out. In an article for SBS Australia, it is written that in Australia, 79% of full-time workers have worked outside of their scheduled hours, according to a 2020 report from the Australia Institute Centre for Future Work. Then in an article for ABC titled, "We're all busy, but is it really that we don't have enough time?" Rebecca Huntley wrote, "Perhaps it is that we feel as if we are working longer hours than we actually are, what with the increased hours of commuting to and from work and the number of us connected to work via our devices." So from this, we can see that work hours does not only include your actual hours that you are being paid to work, it also includes the time that it takes for you to commute to and from work. And nowadays, with how expensive rent prices have been, people have been moving to the suburbs in hopes of getting cheaper rent. And as a result, it increases the amount of time they have to go to work or return from work. And there's also this thing where sometimes, your boss or your clients or your coworkers would contact you outside of work hours as well. And that is why a lot of workers have been fighting to get a right to completely disconnect from work and to have that right be actually legalized, I guess, officialized in legislation. In an article for the University of Melbourne, it was reported that in Australia, local workforces are fighting, recently winning a legally enshrined right to disconnect from work-related contact outside paid hours via the Fair Work Amendment Right to Disconnect Bill 2023. This national development follows the lead of 20 countries, including France, which first passed legislation in 2016 permitting workers to turn off phones and other smart devices when not at paid work. So yeah, the air fryer is convenient, it is incredibly easy to use, but not only that, it helps you save time in a world where people are already time poor. Another reason why there's such a big obsession for air fryers is because, let's face it, there's a lot of content about air fryers on social media. If you remember my Labubu video, which is doing incredibly well, so thank you so much guys. In that video, I talked about the power of influencer marketing or just social media marketing. And the same thing is kind of happening as well with air fryers. It's not only content of people promoting exact air fryers, it's just people promoting air fryers in general and posting their food creation that they made on their air fryer, or it's also people posting easy recipes for you to try out at home using your own air fryers. In an article for Millennial News, available on Medium, Nathan Chen wrote, "Let's face it, we live in a world where if you didn't post it on social media, it didn't happen. And what's more Instagram worthy than a perfectly cooked dish that looks like it took hours but actually mere minutes? The air fryer is literally our personal food photographer. If there's no pictures of that crispy tofu or those golden brown spring rolls, did you even air fry, bro?" As I mentioned before, it's not just people posting their food creation, it's also people posting recipes that offer cheaper and healthier alternatives, especially for young people who are still in college or universities. We've all been there, like when we were in uni or we were in college, we tend to fall back into eating instant food like Hot Pockets or instant ramen or anything instant really. To be honest, these recipes, these air fryer recipes, allowed young people to eat more healthy and balanced meals without having to spend too much money on buying the ingredients. An article from Mount St. Joseph University says, "Everyone wants to eat healthy and quick meals while still balling on a budget, but no college student wants to cook full meals. That's why we enjoy our air fryers and packaged ramen noodles." TikTok and other social media platforms have helped people in their 20s learn new recipes that are cheap, healthy, and easy. As a college student, you're always on the go and tend to forget how crucial home cooking meals can feel and be for the body. So yeah, social media and the community of air fryer enthusiasts that it builds within its ecosystem, I guess, definitely plays a big part in why people love their air fryer and why people constantly return to cooking with their air fryers. But as much as the air fryer is this really great and convenient tool, it's not an appliance that guarantees you good food, if you know what I mean. It's not to say that you can't make good food in your air fryer, it's just that sometimes when you want convenience, you are sacrificing certain things as well. There's going to always be this trade-off. In an article for The Atlantic, Elizabeth G. Dunn wrote, "Promises of ease in the kitchen took hold in the 1940s and 50s thanks to the flood of women entering the workplace, a newly industrialized food supply, and the invention and marketing of a whole range of time-saving kitchen gadgets. Before that, books about cooking largely admitted what every homemaker knew to be true, that feeding people was back-breaking work. Real easy cooking, if that's what you're after, is far too simple to sustain a magazine and cookbook industry." I feel like a recurring theme in my videos is marketing. And honestly, you know what? It's true. Like, marketing is such a big part in so many industry, and the cooking industry is no exception. What Dunn is basically saying in her article is that real easy cooking doesn't really exist. Like for normal people like me, or maybe, people who don't do cooking as a hobby, these easy meal recipes is pretty hard because we're not used to cooking and we don't have the skills. The thing is, since 1980s, food industry and food culture have become more robust. People have started to develop more refined taste buds and people want more complex food. Eating is no longer just about survival, so they have the opportunity to be like, you know what, I want to eat because I enjoy good food. And as a result, people who work within this industry become people who actually train to become chefs. They go to culinary school. People working in restaurant kitchens are no longer just people who have the skills. They are actually people trained to do these things, which is why like easy meal cookbooks or recipes that come from chefs, they might seem harder, but they consider it to be something easy because that's part of their training. So basically what I'm saying is that it differs between people to people, and convenience at the end of the day looks different to different people. If we want to cook a quick meal, there are sacrifices that you need to make because cooking is not just about, standing over the stove and doing the actual cooking. It's also about, going to the grocery stores, buying the ingredients, prepping the ingredients, cleaning up after you already finished cooking. Dunn closes her article by writing, "Quick cooking rarely comes from a recipe so much as it does from intuition built over the course of hours and hours mucking around in a kitchen. It requires parents to expend some real effort in involving their children in meal preparation and maybe even home economics curricula, returning to schools to teach kids the basics." From what I'm seeing here, quick cooking really depends on the skills that you have and the amount of time that you invest in yourself to develop your cooking skills. Ultimately, if you want convenience in your cooking, you always have to have a trade-off in a way. If I want to prepare a meal within 15 minutes, I have to be content with the fact that the meal won't taste as good as if I marinate the chicken for a whole week, or if I would slow cook the chicken for 3 hours to get that juicy tenderness. I have to be content with the fact that if I throw my food into the air fryer, it's going to be maybe sometimes dry. Maybe it's not going to be evenly cooked on all sides. Even when you're using an air fryer to get fried food, it still doesn't taste as good as when you deep fry the food in actual oil, it's missing that oil taste. But to be honest, to say that people don't really recognize that quick cooking doesn't necessarily exist, it's to take people for fools. People actually know the sacrifices they're making if they want to make convenient food, Maybe at some point, earlier, I know I for sure feel disappointed at first with my air fryer, but then after some time, I start recognizing the food is not going to taste as good as if I'm going to deep fry my food. But I'm willing to make that sacrifice and I'm willing to make that concession as long as the cooking becomes convenient for me, because ultimately I'm time poor. One of my favorite food content creator is Nutrition by Kylie, and I highly recommend her channel and her social media pages because she has a lot of easy meal recipes. But what I love more is her philosophy. She talks about how you ultimately is the one to decide what you want to cook and how you want to cook. If you need to cook using your microwave, then go for it. If you need to buy frozen food because it lasts longer than fresh produce, then go for it. There are many reasons why people prepare their food a certain way, whether it be financial, health, time-wise, etc. Regardless of your decisions, just go for it as long as you make sure that you meet your nutrients and you have a balanced and healthy diet. In the Huntley article for the ABC, she wrote again, "I've spent years researching how Australians cook. On average, a weekday evening meal takes between 20 to 35 minutes to cook. If you are a confident cook that finds making a meal enjoyable and relaxing, then you will probably say that 35 minutes is not a long time to prepare something lovely to eat on a Tuesday. If you hate cooking, consider it a chore and a thankless task, then even 15 minutes preparing a meal feels like a waste of time on any day. Our perception of time shifts to reflect our reality." So yeah, it really all depends on you. It really depends on how you want to cook your food. But most of the time, people know what they are sacrificing if they want convenience in their cooking. But convenience do look different to a lot of people. It kind of reminds me of this food content creator. I forgot who it was, but she posted a recipe that she usually makes whenever she feels tired from work. And as I was watching the video, I was a little bit confused because the techniques that she was using was pretty advanced, and then the ingredients that she has in the fridge, those are like fancy ingredients that you don't normally find in like your normal kitchen. But for her, this recipe might be easy. For her, the ingredients she can easily find in her kitchen because she already stocks it up. Maybe she's a professional chef and that's why she has all these things, and that's why this recipe for her is simple, whereas for the regular person, maybe this recipe is a little bit too advanced. And it got me thinking that at the end of the day, convenience look incredibly different to different people. So are we having fun? Are we having fun? In conclusion, I would say the popularity of the air fryer comes from the fact that it is such an easy and convenient appliance to use, and it helps you save time. But there's also an element of social media as well that boosts the appliance's popularity, because a lot of people are posting about their food creation, and people are also posting their easy, healthy, and cheap recipes. Though some would argue there's no such thing as convenient cooking, you know what? You guys do you. If you think that cooking using your air fryer helps you save time and it helps you, cook a balanced meal that you otherwise won't be able to make if you have to cook over the stove, then definitely go for it. I think at the end of the day, food is such a complex topic, and as long as you make sure that you eat a balanced diet and you get all your nutrients, you go do you. Make your meals that fits your lifestyle. That's why I recommend food content creators like Kylie, who really emphasize this on adding on to your food rather than, subtracting from food, and adding these things that will make your food more balanced and more, what's the word, like robust or something. Anyway, thank you so much for coming on this journey with me. So let me know in the comments, do you own an air fryer? Do you have a favorite air fryer recipe? Or maybe something more general, do you like cooking? Sound off in the comments, please. If you like this video, maybe consider giving it a like, and maybe even subscribe to the channel if you want to. I really appreciate everyone's support, and it's really awesome to see how the channel have grown over the past few months as well. I can only hope my videos continue to be informative, interesting, and entertaining. So yeah, see you guys in the next video, and have a good day!